Hey guys, it's Dr. E with themanualtherapist.com. So it's time for another vidcast, and I thought this would make a better story than a blog post. Today I got totally schooled in the clinic by McKenzie Diplomat Frank Ward. So Frank Ward is a southern boy who grew up in Mississippi, and now he practices in Houston, Texas, and he's the, like I said before, McKenzie Diplomat, so he's taken McKenzie to the nth level. Very, very nice guy. So I'd been seeing a patient, and she had some issues with compliance, and I've been seeing her. We pretty much had progressed her from a retraction with overpressure for a home program, which was always increase no worse, to retraction and rotation. That she was a bit more compliant with because it didn't hurt as much, because this was always increase no worse versus this was just more difficult to get to end range. Previously, she had limited range of motion to that side, and she would always come around, and she didn't have as much trunk dissociation with that. So she thought she was getting to end range, but really it was her trunk rotating. So the first thing Frank did is he told her to actually hold on with onto an armrest and then do the retraction with the overpressure. So because she was holding on, her trunk didn't come around, and she was able to even actively retract and rotate to the end range. So that in itself was very, very helpful. And she was basically saying that, I mean, she kind of hinted that she wasn't as compliant as she should have been. So me being very, very assertive, and I was saying like, oh, I'm known for my intensity, as some people put it, and I don't really give my patients an option, and I call it throwing the never card. So I threw the never card several times earlier today, and a student who it's his first day with me watched me, convince other people who just wanted passive approaches and just wanted me to fix them that they had to do what they needed to do to make themselves better. And so she said, I'm doing my exercises. Well, how many times are you doing them a day? And she said, I'm doing them maybe after some hesitation 4 to 6 times a day. And to me, when someone hesitates like that, 4 to 6 is really probably 2 or 3. And then you're also going in a span of maybe hours before you actually do your next exercise, which we know neurophysiologically is probably not enough to lock it in. So long story short, I basically said, I'm sorry, but whatever your magic frequency is, yours might have to be more. Some people can get away with 2 or 3 times an hour, or 2 or 3 times a day, but I think you have to do it more. And she's like, well, certainly I can't do it at work, and I'm definitely not going to do it at a meeting. I said, well, my patients who aren't getting better are the ones who have excuses like that, and you're not telling me you can't do it, you're telling me you won't do it. So this is my usual approach, and I'm usually able to kind of convince people to be more compliant. And she said, well, I just won't do it at work. And I said, well, then you may just never get better. And that's what I call throwing the never card. It's only an option not to do. If you don't want to do exercises, then don't plan on getting better. Because whatever she had done in the past, and she's been to several therapists and several chiropractors, no one had ever done anything to improve. And we've gotten only about 10% improvement, but it's still more than what she had with other approaches. So with me being very assertive and throwing the never card in, Frank Ward just kind of steps in and is like, excuse me, miss, what'd you say your name was? Debbie? Okay, listen, Debbie. Now, why don't you just, at the beginning of the meeting, just stand up and say, excuse me, now, I've got some neck problems, and I have these exercises I need to do. And someone else might say, oh yeah, I've had neck pain in the past. I understand where you're coming from. And then it won't be an issue. And then, her eyes just kind of, she smiled. I saw a light bulb go off. She said, that sounds like a great idea. So, I had a student who was watching, and he just kind of looked at me and started laughing, and I was like, damn, this guy is so nice. And I learned a lot, and I was totally schooled by his southern hospitality. And thank you, Frank Ward, for teaching me a valuable lesson on how to be softer with patients, and certainly, again, less is more, and I don't have to spend 10 minutes basically berating someone on how non-compliant they are, and sometimes all you got to do is just ask them nicely. So thanks a lot. I learned a lot today, and I hope you did too.